3D, start or get into your D2L. Here is my surveying course, and I want you to download some data for our today's class. To do so, you just have to go to content, and then under module number two, like here, which is about earthworks. You guys remember that during the last 6 hours, we successfully finished those two presentation here. So our class today, and probably sometime next class, next week, we will cover this part here, which is a civil 3D exercise. So please go ahead right now and download every file under civil 3D tutorial under module number two. Not much. So number one, which I would like to just to make sure that you guys understand this. So I have here a PDF tutorial. So whatever we do today in class, everything is recorded in this tutorial. So if you just open this PDF file, you can see here is my PDF file and it has some writing. I know some of you like to read something instead of watching something because maybe watching is fast and it's not easy to catch and capture. So you have the two options. As I said, I try my best to give you the two options for every material in my class in terms of Civil 3D. So you can see here is my tutorial, start with some discussion, show you all the steps with some snapshots. Please, if you are a big fan of PDF file, please download it, use it, and if you see any comment, just please share it with me. As I said, from my perspective, the tutorials are amazing. Those are made by Tahir, who is the best instructor in the world. But from your perspective, it could be something else. It could be really the worst tutorial in the world. So if you have any problem with the tutorial, all you have to do is look them and say, okay, you know what, this area, this part here, I don't understand. I'm happy to edit and change. But unless you check it, there is no way for me to improve it. So, okay, uh, so this is the PDF file. I'll go back here and I want you, all of you, to download those two files. One is called design, and the other one is called existing ground. Please go ahead and download those files because those are the data that we're going to use today in our exercise. I have done so, and I have them here on my download folder. I will just take the time to show you what do we have, for example, in existing ground. So here is the existing ground file. I'll give you some time to download. So here is my existing ground file, which is there is no super science here. It's just a data file which contains the coordinates of some points. And if you guys take like kind of quick observation, we have 1, 2, 3. So the first column is your point number, followed by the easting, followed by the northing, followed by the elevation without description. And we have some these points about, I think if you counted them, those are total of 25 points. I want to make it clear before I start today, what we're trying to do in class is simply solve the same problem that we had before. Do you guys remember this problem? Can I get some confirmation? Did you see this problem before in my class?
Yep.
Okay, so I am just trying to do what we have done before manually. I will do it one more time using Civil 3D. The reason I do that is because there is a benchmark, huh? So remember that I taught you this method last class and we're able to find the volume. And how much is my volume? My volume is simply this number here. It's a 3,391 cubic meter. And that's why I will do it using Civil 3D, and I have a reference number here that I can compare against and discuss. Okay, and that's why. So I'll come back to this one to make sure that convince you that we're using the same data. But for now, just want to get your what do you think? I have an empty drawing that has nothing. What do you think would be my first step? Any smart guess?
Import points.
Thank you, sir. That's what I will do right now. I will import the points. I'm going to go ahead and go from menu points. You guys have done this several times, so I don't have to repeat myself, and I will do it quickly. I go import the points. I decide where is my file, and I want to make sure that you guys understand this. So remember, we have two different files. One is called design, and the other one is called the existing, and I'm trying to find the volume between the existing and the design. You guys remember when I discuss importing points, you remember that I can import several files on the same step. I'm asking you, do you think this is a good idea to do it right now? Like to import the design and the existing together in the same step? Any
No,
thoughts?
because you
No.
can't put them in their own point groups.
Thank you, sir. That's the perfect answer. If you import them and you assume that they have the same format, you will add them to the same point group, which means later on, when you build a surface, you build a surface of something which is nothing. It's neither the design or the existing. It's kind of mix and match, banana plus apple. You know, it's just something that doesn't represent anything. And that's why, please do not import both of them in the same point group. I'll start here with existing. I'll hit OK. Next is my data format, which is PENZ. This one here with a comma delimiter. And then 1 second, go ahead and check the preview. So point number, easting, northing, elevation. So great. Next is, don't hit OK, please. Never do that. Because if you hit OK right now, can I ask you where these points will go?
They won't have a group at all.
Yeah, they go to underscore all points, which when I bring the other, maybe if I do the same thing and I bring the other point, so again, we have the same problem. We have a mix within the same point group. Please don't do that. Remember, when I say something, for some of you, it looks like trivial, but I can tell you over the years, those are very common errors that students that they fall into. So make sure you create a point group, and I'll call this one EX points. So those are the existing ground points, or EG. I'm going to call it EG instead of EX. EG, existing ground points. Okay? And then I'm going to say hit OK, and I'm ready. I'm going to hit OK right now. You guys remember the points are in, however, they are out of my zoom. So I'll just zoom to the extent of my drawing, and here we go. These are the points. Before I continue, I would like to make sure that you guys check it against our problem. You guys, it's very difficult right now. We have point number and elevation, not easy to read. So I'm going to do quick formatting so you guys can see better. So I'll go here and quickly on the properties of this point group, I will just say elevation only. I don't want to see any point number. And on the same time, I will shrink the point size, and I will shrink the height of the text. Again, I'm doing things very quickly because I'm just assuming that you guys can do that. When you want to shrink the height of the elevation only, you either copy or simply go and edit the style and change the size to, let's say, 1. As I said, this doesn't affect my calculations at all. It just show you a better picture or better visualization. So please watch this. So here is my data. Here is my data. And on the same time, I will show you here is my problem side by side. Okay. So here is the problem I'm trying to solve side by side. Please take your time in 1 second and see if we have the same exactly the same problem. I'll give you here few seconds and please confirm.
Seems to be the same.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for confirmation. Then what I'm gonna do next, I will repeat this one more time. I will go from menu points and I will import the design points. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and design, import the design, hit OK, choose the file format, which is PNG, same as the other file. In 1 second, check the preview. And here we go. We have point number starting from 26, and we have XYZ, and all the elevations are 9. Look at this. I'm scrolling up and down. All the elevations are 9. And if you go back to our problem, remember, we're trying to level the ground to elevation 9. So my design is 9. Please don't hit OK right now, because if you hit OK right now, it goes to underscore all points. Or even if you check this one, please don't hit OK, because if you hit OK right now, you know that the points will go into EG and it will be a mix and match. Then make sure you create another point group. I call it design points, and I will hit OK. So right now I can hit OK, and my points will go and live into this point group. Hit OK. Now you can see I have my points, and they come on top because the surface must be on the same location, huh? So if these points go into somewhere else, it means I cannot estimate volume. You understand that, huh? So the existing and the design must occupy the same location. Now I will do quick formatting, same as I did with the existing. So you guys can see, I go to properties, I change my point style to a different style. And also I go to elevation, elevation only. And we'll do some formatting here. Again, I will simply quick the size, change the size, let's say to 2. So I'm gonna change the size of the benchmark to 2. And on all other format I will do, I will come here and I will copy, and I will make a rotated 45 degrees. I'll go to the layout and we'll change the rotation of the text to 45 degrees and the color to blue. All I'm doing is I want you to visually see the difference between the existing ground points and the design points, because right now they look the same. So I'm gonna hit OK and OK. You can see, huh? I changed the point style and I changed the point label style. Watch this. I'm gonna hit OK. Now you can see, I can see the existing and the design in a different format or different style. I have a question for you, okay? Question for you. Now you can see my existing ground has 25 points, while my design has only 8 points. And all the points on the design has elevation 9. You can see all of them, they have elevation 9. I'm asking you, do you think I'm making mistake, or that's okay? I can proceed and do the calculation based on 8 points only. My question in another language, do I have to have 25 points in the design file, or those 8 points are just enough?
Those should be enough, because at the end, the whole ground's going to be that elevation of 9. So you can just sort of make the outline of the area with the design ground.
This is the perfect answer. Thank you, sir. Adding 25 points of 9 doesn't improve your surface, because your surface is flat. Your surface is flat. So if you add 1 million point on a flat surface, it doesn't improve the definition of your surface because it's a flat. Huh? If your design surface is kind of broken line, maybe then we need more points. But as you said, all I need is a point at every kick of your ground. So it kicks in or kicks out, then I need the outline of my surface, and this will give me my perfect horizontal surface. Now we've imported the points. Can anybody please guess and tell me what it should be my next step? Just guess, huh? I'm not gonna be angry or anything if you say anything wrong, huh? What do you think? What is my next step after importing the points?
Surface creation.
Thank you so much for this. Okay, so yes, the next step is surface creation, because I can tell you something. There is nothing you can do in Civil 3D without a surface. For example, can I draw a profile? No, you cannot. Can I draw a cross section? No, you cannot without a surface. Can I estimate volume without a surface? No, you cannot. So remember, that those points so far are discrete point, discrete point. However, once we create a surface, we have a continuous representation of the ground. Okay, I've said this several times. Okay, so those points are kind of useless right now. We're gonna convert them or build a surface out of them. So I'm asking you, how many surface would I create? One or two?
Two?
Two. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So I'll go here and I'll show you one. I will just go on my tool space and then right click on surfaces, then create a surface. And you guys remember, I will do is I will come here and I will say, okay, I need a name. Please don't use this name, which is going to be surface one and surface two. Just say uh, design, design surface. So I'm trying to create a design surface. I'll hit OK. So congratulations, you have your design surface here. I will do it one more time. Remember where I click, huh? I will not click on design surface rather than clicking on surfaces. I will right click one more time and I will say create another surface. I'll come here and I will say this one will be EG surface. Okay, so right now I have two surfaces. Why I don't see anything on the right side? The answer is very clear. Because my surfaces, both of them, right now, they are empty surface. Huh? It's empty. So there's a surface, a container, but there is no data inside my surface. I'll do that right now. I will push some data into my surface. Just be careful, huh? Because you can see we have two different data. So sometimes it's confusing, huh? Which one should I start? There is no specific order. At the end of the day, you must have two surfaces. I will start here with the design, okay? Watch this. So I want to build my design surface. I want to push some data. Anybody to remind me how can I do that? To simply push some data into my design surface? I need help, please.
You expand it,
Thank you, sir. Next is?
then you expand definition.
Thank you, sir. Next is?
Right click on point groups,
Thank you.
and you should just be able to add.
Okay, perfect. So here we go. So you can see the software is giving me all the available point groups in this drawing. And you can see I have three. This one contains all the points. This one has the existing, and this one has the design. Remember, you are in the design surface. So please don't add existing ground or even don't add all points. This is a big mistake. Okay, this is a super big mistake, and this one is a confusing mistake. If you add into a design existing points, that's a silly mistake, and trust me, you will hit your head against the wall for hours. Okay, so we are in the design, so make sure you pick the design points and hit OK. Now you can see my surface is built. We have the green outline or the boundary of my design. But you guys know that in general, when I do that, I get some contour lines. Can anybody tell me why I don't have any contour lines right now? No.
Because we have contours of 2 and 10 meters, and we are not past 2 meters.
So you think if I change my contour interval to 1 centimeter, you see more contour lines?
Yeah.
No, sir, that's not right. Okay, because simply like the design surface is a flat surface, flat. Okay, so even if you make it 1 centimeter, it doesn't help you. It's flat. There is no intersection except only the contour line 9. By the way, we have one contour line, which is the boundary. So the boundary is also a contour line, which is contour line 9. No matter what you do with the contour interval, it doesn't help you. You will always see the same picture because you have a perfect flat surface of 9. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I haven't had any coffee yet, sorry.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Okay, now let's do the same thing for existing ground. So I would do it myself. Thank you so much for help. So I go definition, I go to point groups, I push into this one, I push my existing ground and hit OK. And you can see this time I got contour lines. Why is that? Why is that? Why I get contour lines? Because
Because
my
that one's not a
surface is
flat,
not.
not a flat, not a flat
Exactly, not
surface.
that anymore. Okay, so you know what? I will do something. I will simply show you things in 3D. Do you guys remember what you should do if you want to see better in 3D? Did I teach you anything in the class to see better in 3D?
Yep,
Object
you
door.
click the surface. Yeah,
Yeah, so look at this. Please watch this. I'm gonna do this, a crossing. And what does it mean? I'm picking both surfaces, huh? Because I want to take both of them into my object viewer. Thank you so much. So I will do this. So both surfaces are being selected. Then right click. Then object viewer. Watch this. So now I'm in object viewer. I can simply turn thing up, like left and right, up and down. Now, you see two surfaces, one in gray and the other one is kind of bloody red, okay? And you can see the bloody red is perfectly flat while the gray has up and down, up and down. Hopefully, you can see this from this direction, huh? Now, before I continue, let me remind you of what we're trying to solve. Please take your time and look at this here. Do you think, am I ready to solve and find the volume? Take your time. Don't rush your answer. You think my drawing has exactly the same model as my problem, or there is a small difference?
the building.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the building is the problem. I mean, that not a problem. It's the difference because it says here and what we did is we did all the calculation based on the assumption that the building is to remain while we're grading around the building. This way, if I do the calculation, guess what? It's exactly as if I demolish the building and level it to elevation 9, if you agree, which I will get different number. Now I need some help. What do you think? What should I do here to make my AutoCAD match my problem? Proposal? Any proposal on how to remove the building from the calculations?
Could we get rid of the brake lines, maybe?
You're right. You can get rid of some of the tin line. I'm not brick line, tin line, tin, T-I-N. So this is one option. You can get rid of some of the tin lines. And you know what? I have been doing this, to be honest, for years. And students, they propose for me a different way, which I like it even more because it's easier for my students. How about if we add boundary? How about if we add boundary? Watch this. I'm going to make sure that my OSNAP is node. So my OSNAP is node. Great. So that's my OSNAP. And I will draw a boundary. Watch this. I'll go from this point to this point here, to this point here, and to this point, and I'll keep adding or drawing the boundary of my area. Look at this, please. What if I add this polygon here as a boundary? What's going to happen?
For cut and fill, it should ignore the area that you have and select as the boundary, which should be the section the building's in.
So it will simply, if I add this as a boundary, if you remember, it will simply remove the building from my calculation and from my surface. So please watch me how I do that. Please watch it. Huh? So you know what? I'll just minimize everything, expand my tool space. And I'm asking you how easy right now to select manually on the plan view one of the surfaces. How easy? Is it easy to select, for example, design or existing, or it's confusing because you can see they have the same thing, same boundary? What do you think? I would say to me, I'll give you the answer. It is difficult to select one of the surfaces without any mistake. I'll show you a different way of selection, which works fantastic. Look at this. So if you go to your tool space, and let's say you pick the design, and then you right click, you know what happens? You have here some commands. One of them is called select. So this command here, it allows you to select one not the other. So you can do the selection from your tool space. So I'm gonna go ahead right now and I'm gonna add a boundary. Can anybody remind me how can we add boundary to a surface? Any volunteer? How do we add boundary to a surface?
You expand that
Thank you.
and then expand definition.
Thank you.
And then there's boundaries right there. So you probably right click on it and add.
Now I'm asking you, what we do is I'm going to call this one, boundary. Let's say, again, if you can choose any name, it's up to you. But I'm asking you, would we make this boundary or hide or show or outer? Which option that will help me? Outer, right? It's outer because simply I want to make this a boundary as outer and trim everything outside. And then hit OK. And simply what you have to do is select the polyline, which is here. So I select my polyline, and what happened is I have added a boundary. Now, is it easy to see in this view here that I have done it right? Is it easy or difficult? What do you think? Anybody saw the difference? I doubt. I doubt that you saw anything. So what's the best way? How can I check that I already removed the building from the design? Any help? Any thoughts?
Object viewer again.
Thank you, sir. So what I will do is I will pick both of them. So I'm crossing the border, the boundary. I will right click, I'll go to object viewer, and let's see what we have so far. Watch this. Look at the bloody red surface at the below. Do you see where the building has been taken out? You see that? I need confirmation, please. Do you see that?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, now here is a question for you. Do you think right now I should repeat the same thing for existing ground, or that's not required? But please, because it's a tricky question, huh? Please think before you answer. My question one more time is, now I have removed the building from the design. To find the right volume, should I go and remove the building from the existing as well, or that's good, I can continue and do my calcs right now? What do you think?
I think you have to, because if not, it's going to trying to be doing cut and fill to that area where the building would occupy on the existing ground.
Okay. Any other? Thank you so much, Billy. Any other opinions? Any other thoughts about this one? Please think. It's a tricky question, by the way, not easy. So I'm asking you, do you think I must remove the building from existing ground, or I can do the calculation right now? What do you think?
Because we don't have anything underneath that area now, would that mean that AutoCAD might not calculate that square anyways? Because it doesn't have anything to reference on?
Yes, sir. That is the perfect answer. Guys, listen to me. I'm going to ask you the question, and you will probably know by yourself. If I build one surface, can I estimate a volume? Only one surface. I have a data set. I build a surface. Can I find the volume?
No, because you have nothing to compare it to.
Exactly. So the volume, by definition, you must have an upper and lower bound. An upper and lower bound. Okay. Otherwise, there is no calculation of the volume. It's just one shell, huh? One shell. So if you have an upper and lower bound, then you can estimate the volume in between. Remember, I don't need to remove the building from the existing ground, because simply in the building area, the software has nothing to compare against, which means software will not estimate any volume within the building area. Okay. However, if you do it, doesn't harm, it doesn't kill anyone, you'll get the same answer. Okay. So next is we have imported the points, we have built the two surfaces, and we did some edit if required. By the way, we are ready right now to find the volume. Let's do it. You guys, if you want to find the volume, there are two methods. I'm going to start with the easiest one. And after the break, we will continue on the second method. So the first method, we use a tool in Civil 3D or utility called volume dashboard. Volume dashboard. How can I get access to the volume dashboard? Please watch this. I'm going to move my cursor and then click anywhere on any surface. Doesn't matter. So I click on a contour line, on boundary. on existing or design, it doesn't matter. Watch this. I click here on this contour line. You guys remember what happens to my ribbon if I click on a surface? We've done this several times in our class. If you click on the surface, our ribbon is called contextual ribbon, and it will simply turn itself into something, and I will show you all the commands that you can apply to a surface. We've done this several times. If you remember, we went and edit the surface here, and we add labels. We also did water drop analysis. We did visibility check. So we already kind of used many of those commands here. You think this one here called volumes dashboard. I will leave my cursor and you guys please read. So if you read the tool tips here, it says here, it calculates the volume of cut and fill. Okay, calculates cut and fill and net volume. Now let's do that. Let's go ahead and click on this utility. And utility comes in a panorama window. And you guys know panorama windows. You've seen them when we did the description key set. It is tricky, huh? Where is my panorama window? I already clicked. Where it is? What do you think?
It's collapsed on the left-hand side there.
Exactly. It's so tricky, huh? It goes here and hide itself on the top left. And please just click on this icon here. It stops the auto hide and you will have it all the time. So tricky. Now, the next part is what you have to do is you need to create something called the volume surface, which how you have to click on the third button or icon from the top left. 1, 2, 3. And before I continue, I want you guys understand what does it mean volume surface. So far you learned in my class a surface. A surface is only one shell. Volume surface, think about it as a volume of rotation, surface of rotation. It's kind of a closed surface. A closed surface between the two surfaces. One more time. Surface, it means one shell. Okay? While volume surface, it combines two different surfaces and create a volume of rotation or a surface of rotation. Let's do that. So I'm going to come here and say, create for me a new volume surface, and we simply have to fill some information here. So what do we call it? I'm going to call it cut dash fill. So I'm naming my surface to cut dash fill. You can give it any name, and you could even in real life you can use a better name. You can use, for example, March volume or October volume or February volume, or for volume for the company name. Just it's up to you. Call it whatever you like. As usual, we have a description, same as a surface. That's optional. We also have a style. Right now, it's going to use a contour 2 and 10 meter. You know what? Don't play with the style. It's not required here. The most important part is, as I said before, a surface is only one shell, while volume surface, it must be built out of two surfaces. We call them here a base and a comparison. A base and a comparison. And to be honest, I'm not really a big fan of those names. They are confusing, because if I ask you, which one you think is going to be the base? We have existing and we have a design. Which one should be the base and which one be the comparison? And some of you will say, why don't we just add? Does the order matter? Yes, it matters. Because if you put the surfaces in the wrong order, you simply will switch the cut and fill. Switch them, okay? Now, I'm going to give you my golden rule. My golden rule is the base surface is where you start and the comparison surface is where you end. Base is where you start, comparison is where you end. By this kind of of my rule, what do you think? Which one should be the base? Where I'm starting, look at this. I'm going to show you my drawing here. I'm asking you, am I starting from the existing going to the design, or starting from the design going to the existing?
Existing should be base.
Exactly. Watch this. So I'm gonna fill here my existing, and the way we do it is we click here once. You see this three dots on the right side. You click on it, and what do we get? We get all the surfaces in this drawing. I'm gonna go and click on existing. So I'm saying here, make my base surface is existing. Then same thing here. You click here, you click on this guy here and say design, hit OK. As I said before, uh, the order matters, and if you change the order, what happen is you will switch the value of the cut and fill. And some of you will say, okay, you know what, Tyre, that's easy. Look at this problem. Do we know ahead of time that the volume will be volume of cut? What do you think? Do we know that ahead of time, before we even touch anything, do we know that's going to be a volume of cut? Yes or no?
Yes,
Because
because
the
the design
elevation will
elevation
go
is
9, and all the elevations are above 9, okay, which means I'm going to have a cut 100%. So you tell me, okay, you know what, Tahir, I'm not going to bother, I'm not going to put here any order. When I get the final value, if it matches my expectation, great. If it doesn't match, I'll just reverse or switch. Here is my input, okay? This is very clear here, but in most situation, when we do cut and fill, we don't know how much is cut or how much fill. We cannot anticipate. Sometimes, yes, we anticipate, like this problem here, and let's say this is, we know that the elevation of the grading is less than all the elevations, but in general, you don't know. And that's why, because you don't know, you must have this in the right order, which is easy. When we start this base existing, and when we the final surface will be my comparison. Now I have an exercise for you to make sure that everybody got the idea. If you graduate and you work for a company in a few months from now, and you guys, we don't pay our contractor like the whole amount upfront, huh? What they do is we simply pay them monthly, depending on their progress. So what you do is you typically send your surveying crew to the site every start of the month. Every start of the month. So for example, you are going to send your crew February 1st, and then you send them March 1st. And you want to find how much volume did you generate in the month of February. I'm asking you here, which surface will be the base and which surface will be the comparison? February 1st will be the base, or March 1st will be the base?
February 1st?
Exactly, because this is where I start, and then the comparison surface will be March 1st. It's as easy as that. Base is where you start, comparison is where you end. Now, there are two numbers here, which I'm pretty sure that you study those numbers in other courses. Something called cut factor and fill factor, which is we live here at 1. So what are those numbers, or what do they represent, or what do they mean? This is pure geotechnical discussion. You guys know that the soil, if it sits down for 1 million years and you come today and simply dig it up, what happens is you will get an extra volume. So sometimes we modify the cut value by a percentage, let's say 10% or 15%, depending on the type of the soil. But to be honest, for our calculation that we pay the contractor, we don't adjust anything. It is their business to adjust. For example, if they want to hire some trucks, because when they get the volume, the soil, it will simply expand and it will simply take more volume. But that's their business, not our business. Huh? We always estimate based on one and one. Hit OK. And please watch this. If I hit OK, watch what's going to happen into my volume dashboard. Watch this. Hit OK. You can see in 1 second, the software has simply estimated the volume, and the volume is right there. So we have our volume dashboard, sorry, the volume surface, cut slash fill. Cut factor, fill factor is 1. Area is 1400 square meter. And the volume of cut is 3415. Zero fill as we expect, and then the net is to the cut, and then we have a diagram here which shows everything red. Now let's quickly compare those numbers. So we have a number already. The number is over here. Okay, so do you guys see the two numbers? Two numbers. We have two numbers, one based on manual calculation, and the other one is based on civil 3D calculation? Now I'm asking you, which one you think is a better number, is more accurate? And I know most of you or all of you will say Civil 3D for sure. Civil 3D is a software and can do a better job than us. What do you think? Any different opinion?
I mean, I guess it depends on the data that you've put into Civil 3D. If you're carrying more decimal places and whatnot, then Civil 3D should technically be more accurate. But if you don't, then your hand calcs could be more accurate.
You know what? I will just, I'm not buying into this answer. Civil 3D, thank you so much for answer for sure. Huh? The Civil 3D will simply read the entire number from your file. And as long as we carry enough decimals here in my calculation, you can see we're using exactly the same numbers, huh? So that's not the right answer. The right answer is it goes along what we've discussed in our class before. Do you guys remember when I discussed with you contour lines and I said which contour line is better, the manual or the civil 3D? Do you remember this discussion? Contour lines, huh? Which one is better? If you remember, the contour line done using Civil 3D, it's better because simply it interpolates along the diagonals in addition to the four sides of the square. So it gives you a kind of a refined version of your contour line. Okay, it breaks at the diagonal. And I think we discussed also, we said the diagonals is not easy to tell which diagonal. The software will have to do a lot of calculation to find the diagonal. Now, let me ask you here. Do you remember what was my repeated pattern in this problem that I used for calculation? Do you remember what was my repeated pattern? I will box something, maybe it will remind you. Do you remember why did we use 10 by 10 divided by 4? What was the repeated pattern?
That was the cell size.
The square, yeah, that's the square. That's my repeated pattern, the square here. Now I'm asking you, do you think what is the repeated pattern for Civil 3D? I will just go to Object Viewer, and you guys will figure it out. Okay? What do you think? What is my repeated pattern for Civil 3D? Is it still square or something else?
It's like the triangles.
Triangles. Okay, so I'm asking you, just think about it. Which one you think will give you a better results, using a triangular shape or the square shape? Anyway, I'll give you the answer. So the triangular shape will give you a better answer because simply it's a better representation of the ground. Okay, it doesn't assume a perfectly flat surface between the 4 points, rather than it breaks at one of the diagonals. So it's a much better representation, and it gives you a better volume. Anyway, so let's move on to something which will be very interesting for you, which is simply, what if I decide and change my mind and I simply cross this number here, and let's say I want to level my ground to elevation 11. Now, before we do any calculation, what do you expect? Do we get cut or fill or both? What if I change my mind and I do level my ground to elevation 11? Do I get cut or fill or both?
You'll get both.
Both. Thank you so much. So both, we give both, and the reason why is because 11 is somewhere between the minimum, which is I guess 9.5, and the maximum, which is 13. Okay, because this elevation is between minimum and maximum, so somewhere we cut, somewhere also we fill. Okay, so now I'm going to show you right now how to simply find the volume if I change my mind and I want to do it at elevation 11. You know what? I will minimize my panorama window for now, and here is how I do it. Very, very simple. The way you do it is What if I simply take my design level, which is right now 9, and I push it up by 2 meters? Push it up by 2 meters. Now it means my design will be 11. Did I teach you anything in my class here to raise or lower the surface? You guys remember that? Did I teach you in the class a command that takes the entire surface, raise it up or lower it down?
You did, but I can't remember.
Sure. Okay, sure. So there is something, and I will show you how. You guys remember to do so, we need to select the surface, correct? We need to select the surface. As I said before here, selection of the surface is tricky. It's very difficult to select the design right now. Very difficult, okay? So I will do the selection from the tool space. Watch this. So I will go to my tool space. I'll click on the design surface, right click, and I will say select. This will ensure that I'm selecting my design and the raise will be for the design. Because if you select a wrong surface, and for example, by mistake, you selected the existing ground, then you know if I raise, it will raise my existing ground. This way, you avoid any confusion. Tool space, right click on the surface, select. So my surface right now, the existing, the design is being selected, and I get this lovely ribbon, among which you have edit surface. I'm asking you where can I raise my surface? Is it swap edge, delete line, modify point, or something else? Any help?
So raise lower surface.
Raise lower surface, that's correct. And I'm asking you, what is the number I should input into my Civil 3D? Now we are at 9, and I want to level it at elevation 11. So I'm asking you, what should I do with my design level that is currently at 9? I want to bring it to 11. Any
2
help?
meters.
Do we add just 2 to it?
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to write here 2, and when I hit enter, we simply added 2 meters to all elevations. Now, do you see anything happens on my tool space? Something that we've seen before? Anything you can see on the
update.
You can see my cut and fill surface got a yellow triangle. And I want you to watch, the surface is different from the volume surface. You can see this from the icon. The surface, it gets this icon, and the volume surface, it gets this icon. And you can see it says it's not up to date, it's outdated. Then what you can do, any help?
Rebuild automatic if you want to keep it automatic.
Right click, and we go and rebuild automatic, and simply the yellow is gone. So look at this magic. I'm gonna expand my volume dashboard, and please take a look one more time. We don't have the same number before, so all those numbers have been updated, and I have the new result in few seconds. You can see here we have an amount of cut of 880 cubic meter, 266 for fill, and the net for sure we have more cuts, so the net will be on the side of the cut. And look at my diagram. My diagram was a minute ago is all red. It means all cut. Right now I have a cut in red and I have a fill in green. Now, if you guys remember, probably you studied this somewhere, if you want to minimize the amount of the soil that will be transported from or to the site, what is my best scenario here? What this diagram should look like if I don't want to import or export any soil from the site?
Should it be half and half?
It should be 50%. And by the way, you can do that here. Maybe you can do a couple of trials until you balance your cut and fill. So this kind of leveling or grade will give you a balance between cut and fill. Okay. So anyway, this will simply finish. We finished already the method. And I need to remind you very quickly, the method is so simple. You have to import the points. You have to build a surface. You edit the surface if required, and then you do this on the other data set, and then use volume dashboard to find your volume. Now I have an argument. I'm going to say it, and then we have a continued discussion after the break. I'm asking you guys, now let's say you graduate in a couple of months, you're outside, you're working, your boss sent you some data and ask you to find the volume, okay? You did use this method here, and you found the volume. So how do you report your boss? What can you do? I would say the best you can do is take a snapshot from the volume dashboard, a snapshot, and send them. You say, okay, here is the cut, here is the fill. You agree or disagree?
I feel like that's not detailed enough.
Exactly. Who said that? I wanna know your name, please.
That was Christian.
Okay, thank you so much, Christian. I love what you said. This is not detailed enough. You think your boss will buy into your results? You just send them the snapshot of this, and they want to believe you. And I can tell you, there is a conflict of interest here. There is owner side and there is a contractor side, and you can see there is a conflict of interest. Owner wants to pay less, and or contractor wants to get paid more. Correct? And nobody will believe you if you just take a snapshot and then send it to them. Okay, because remember, this will turn into money, and they need a more detail on your calculation method, something to follow. Unfortunately, this method it looks very easy. You can see it's very easy. Because I discuss in very detailed method, so it takes more time. But I can tell you, if you do it on your own, probably about 5 or 10 minutes, you're done. So the method is super easy. However, it is not convincing, and I'm very careful. I'm not saying it's not accurate. Huh? The method is so accurate, but it's not convincing because it doesn't show you all the intermediate steps. It gives you the final results, which is not really detailed to your client. After the break, I'll show you another method which will give you all the steps where you can take it to your client and convince them with your results. Any question before we break? Okay, so no question. Then I will break here for 10 minutes. I will see you here back at 9:08. Thank you.